Jay and Dermot, a moment that caused a stir online and in the gantry. Technical issues for the assistant referee meant delays in both the first half and the start of the second half. Gary Neville, not happy.
I mean, the game can't be stopped for 2 minutes because the linesman can't communicate to a referee. I mean, played football for 100 years without it, so I think we can play another 5 minutes until they work it out. And the whole crowd now waiting because of an IT issue. I find it ridiculous.
It does turn a white-hot start to the game, a little tepid. Lets it go cold.
And we're now 2 or 3 minutes stopped. Players having to sort of re-warm up again and reset. Absolute shambles.
Right, welcome Dermot Gallagher, Jay Bothroyd. We are going to have a bit of fun with this. What we're going to do is we're going to play both of those delays in the big screen here as it was on TV, and whilst it plays out, we're going to chat through all the incidents from the game, see which finishes first, OK? So, look, technology, Dermot, come on, remind us what it is being used for.
I think it's a case of be careful what you wish for, Hayley. You know, Charlie Austin, bless him, came up with this great rant, didn't he? Given the technology, they must have it. Suddenly you've got the technology, it doesn't work, and poor old referee is a pantomime villain, isn't he? He's blamed for everything, and it's not his fault, is it? It's down to the manufacturers, it's down to the operators. You know, I really felt for the referee because, as everybody see, it was such a brilliant start to the game. It was frenetic, both teams were up for it, and suddenly there's this delay for that reason. Yeah,
look, why couldn't they just play on?
Well, they have to be in communication. That's what we all ask for. I really felt for Peter Banks because you see him go to Mikel Arteta and he says to him, you know, he's trying to explain to the players, this is a problem, we've got an issue that's it's not communicating, we need it mic'd up because of the VAR, we've got to communicate. Just didn't happen.
I mean, from my point of view, obviously being ex-player, I'm looking at it saying, where's the common sense here? You've got a flag, you've got a whistle. Communicate how you used to, Dems. I know you didn't like sprinting over to the linesman that much, but blow the whistle or wave your flag, go over, speak to your man, come up with a decision. You don't always need the technology. If the technology is not working, you can still manage the game. I think a lot of kind of disgruntles there is because it's just common sense. You've got a flag, you've got your whistle, play the game the way it used to be played if the technology is not working.
One thing, look, Jay, could the referee maybe ask the managers or the captains to say, look, it's not working right now. Are you both happy to play on, make the decision?
100%. And I'm sure both of them would be. It's better than waiting around, stopping, because when you see that as well, because it's stopped for so long, the players now are like moving around and running around because they're getting cold. It's like they need to have another warm-up. Thankfully, no one got injured there, but that stoppage is way too long. I mean, the one at half-time was even worse for me. Because why couldn't they sort the technology out during the 15 minutes at half-time? Why do they come out and it's a problem again?
Yeah.
So that this is something they need to address. But I think just common sense, use your flag, use your whistle if the tech is not working.
Look,
also be aware, also be aware, Peter Banks didn't want that. He was 5 minutes into that game as well. He was up to speed right from the kickoff. Yeah. He was into that game and his focus was on, and suddenly he's got to deal with something that he didn't envisage. He's no longer dealing with the players, he's dealing with the managers, he's dealing with technicians saying, well, it's going to take this long. So his focus is paramount to keep that game going.
Yeah, why can't he overrule that?
Well, he's led by people saying, well, you've got to do this, you've got to wait, it's going to be cleared up. And it's difficult because people go, well, give him that amount of time. But if you say it's going to take 2 minutes, do you say after 2 minutes, right, we'll carry on? And then it's better in 2 minutes, 10 seconds. You can see his face there tells everything. He doesn't want to be in that position. He just wants to referee the game.
I just don't. I think it's too long, though. I understand what you're saying. He doesn't want to. No one wants to be in the situation. No one does. No. But surely you have to pivot. If the tech is not working, you pivot and just say, Arteta, are you happy with this? You know, are you happy with this, Igor? To carry on, captains, whoever it may be, are you happy for the game to carry on and we do this manually? If everyone agrees to it, then just let the game go ahead, because it causes problems. It can cause problems with the players, because if the players are standing around for 5 minutes, they're getting cold, then they might get injuries. So, it's just a common sense thing for me. Just play the game. Yes, when technology is used in the right way, we all want it. But in this kind of scenario, just roll back the years. Terms, isn't it?
The old school way.
As I say, you see Peter backstage going over. His face told you everything. He just didn't want to be in that position. He's speaking to Mikel Arteta. He's explaining, there's nothing I can do. You can see the way he walked back.
They can still do the job without the technology because they were able to do it when they didn't have it.
Yeah.
So
can he just say? Can he ignore what's going on above him in his ear or whoever it may be, and just say we're going to do this manually?
Well, he's been told, hasn't he? It's going to take this amount of time. You've got to wait, and that's what he's done. And I think he's done brilliantly, because he's communicated. He's almost saying to them, look, it's not my fault. Please don't have a go at me. Give him time. And I said, 5 minutes into the game.
What would have been brilliant is if he just ignored them and carried on. That would have been brilliant.
That's what you would have done. Look, is technology just getting, we're too over-reliant on it now, and even that kind of technology.
But you say that, but every week you sit in that chair in the Football League one comes on, and you go, no, in that chair you go in the Football League, they've got to have VAR, Derm. So
they do. It's the way they use it.
Now you're bashing it off.
It's the way they use it, though. That's what
you wish for.
I know. We're always consistently inconsistent. But at the end of the day, all I'm saying is, this game's been playing for hundreds of years, and all I'm saying that the officials could always speak to one another by blowing the whistle, waving the flag, going over to each other and talking. When the tech is not working, rather than stop the game for 8 minutes, I think it's in everyone's best interest to carry on and just go back to the manual ways.
What do you think Howard Webb will be looking into? Obviously, technically what went wrong, and, discuss a possible change, perhaps?
Well, I think the Premier League will look into it, because it's their concept. They run the product. They'll be wanting answers this morning. How did it go wrong? Why did it take so long? How are you going to make sure this isn't going to happen again?
Do you think that would be good? Say, like, if they said, if there's 2 minutes, if we can't get this sorted in 2 minutes, the game has to go back into play. The ball has to go back into play and resume play, but manually. I think that would be good. Because, 8 minutes? It's crazy. It is crazy.
Like you say, had they have known it was going to be 8 minutes, they potentially would have changed their minds about waiting that long. But look, we've still got 2 minutes left on this. Let's talk Gabriel. Let's talk him denying Randall Colomwani a clear goal-scoring opportunity in the first half. Or did he, Dermot?
I don't think it's a red card. I don't think it's a red card at all, because if you look at it, if he gives a foul, I accept that. It's running through to the keeper. He's not in possession of the ball. That's the first criteria. Is he in possession of the ball? No. So, and it's the keeper's there. So I don't think it's a red card, even if the referee gives a free kick. So I don't think it's any danger whatsoever he's going to get sent off.
Yeah.
If he gives a foul, he can't argue.
It's definitely not a red card. Definitely not a red card, but that should be a foul. And it's not a direct goal-scoring opportunity, because when you see Raya's position, he's right on the edge of the box. So the ball's going to come through to him anyway. I'm not even sure if Moani would get there, but when the ball's coming over, you look at Gabriel, he's not even looking at the ball. He's looking at Moani. So to me, the fact that he's tried to block him and stop him getting to the ball, if you look at his head now, look, he's not even looking where the ball's coming from. It's coming over his right shoulder, he's looking over his left shoulder. So that, to me, should be a free kick, but it's definitely not a red card.
Yeah, a bit lucky then.
Well, it's a free kick. They ain't got no free kick takers.
True. There is. Right, whilst this is still going, same player and Colomwani both involved in another incident in the second half. Dermot, look, is the push by Moani something the VAR isn't going to get involved in because there is contact?
The referee gives it. The on-field decisions are always going to stand there, Hayley. The referee gives foul on field. He thinks there's enough of a push. VAR is never, ever going to say he's got it wrong, because the evidence is there that there is a push, albeit people say, is it enough? But there is a push.
See, when I watched this, I just thought that was really, really soft. And when you look at the trajectory of the ball to where Gabriel was actually underneath the ball, and I think he realises that he's in that position. and he felt hands on his back. I don't think it's enough for Gabriel to react the way he did, but he's fooled the referee into giving him the decision, and it's gone his way at the end of the day.
Breaking away from that, look how much we've got through. It's come to an end already. My goodness. OK, so that just shows you how long that really was. Look, has he done everything he can to exaggerate contact?
Well, I mean, we see one a few weeks ago, didn't we, with Ekitike and Romero, and it was something similar, but Ekitike did jump, but nonetheless, he's got his hands in his back. And I've been in that situation before when you're underneath the ball, you feel contact, and you just think, I'm not going to get the ball, so I have to try and get something. And I feel like the one with Gabriel, I feel that's happened. He hasn't shoved him, he's felt arms on his back. With this one, I mean, I think they both should be given as goals, and that's my consistent take on it. I think sometimes when you stop things and slow things down and you referee the game, you can see hands in someone's back, but it doesn't mean you've been shoved that much to put you off balance where you've gone forward.
I think the difference in this, though, Jay, is Ekitike is up early. Isn't he? He's up early.
As I said, it's slightly different.
Above him, so I get what you're saying, but it is slightly different. I think that one, you'd be very harshly done if disallowed. And
as well, like when you're in the box like that, and there's lots of people around, people have to understand that football players are not going to stand with their hands at their sides, right? You're going to be in this kind of position because you're trying to get a little bit of separation to jump and move, and I think that's why sometimes you see your hand in someone's back. Balance as well, yeah. OK. Right. To an incredible finish at the City Ground. Liverpool picked up a massive 3 points in their battle to finish in the Champions League places. Alexis McAllister was denied a late winner as the handball law came into play again before the tightest of offside calls meant he could celebrate victory in the 7th minute of time added on. Look, Dermot, amazing drama, but it has to be said the law was correctly applied.
It was, and you feel for anybody in this situation because he's just gone to block the ball, it strikes his elbow. It went in, I saw one replay, I went, this is going to be disallowed. On the replay, I saw immediately it struck his elbow and I said, there's no doubt it's going to be disallowed because the minute the VAR sees that, it's going to be handball. The ball went in. He's so unlucky, but it will be the same with any player. It's not just McAllister. Any player that does that, it's always going to be disallowed. I saw one run player and I thought of you. I don't want to do that on my Sundays.
Look, is that the kind of goal you would want to see ruled out?
I mean, listen, as soon as you see it hit his elbow, you know that it's not going to be given. And that, the fact that he's hit his elbow, it negates all other rules, doesn't it? So, it's just unfortunate that that's happened. But that is the rules. And thankfully, went and scored, was it a few minutes later, which was a perfectly...
Same play.
A good finish. But, I mean, even that, there was some question in that one as well, I will say. But we're going to speak about that now, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly, because, look, before we used to talk about deliberate handball and accidental handball. This is quite clearly black and white. Does it need to be changed then?
Well, I think it was brought in, Hayley, because a goal was scored at Burnley by the Arsenal centre-half, wasn't it? And it went in off his arm and everybody said, this isn't right, it can't happen. So I think people accept that if it hits your arm or your hand and it goes in the net, it'll be disallowed.
I agree with that. It's black and white, that rule, isn't it? So everyone knows that there's no debates from when it hits your arm and goes straight in the net.
It's also acceptable, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
100%.
We don't want to see goals scored with a hand.
OK. Right, look, McAllister had initially put Liverpool ahead. This was in the 89th minute. Now, we understand 5 minutes of time added on was awarded during the celebrations and as VAR made those checks. Now, the decision to disallow McAllister's goal took around 2.5 minutes, so no issue with Liverpool's winner that came in the 7th minute of time added on, Dermot.
I'm glad you pointed that out because I was at pains to explain this to somebody last night who was raging about when it happened, and I said, but McAllister's first goal that was disallowed, it took all that, that's where the time came from. And they're like, yeah, but that doesn't matter, the ball's dead. I'm like, wow. But it was just extension to the added time.
I mean, do you know what as well? When you talk about this time, Hayley, me and Dermot spoke off air. I'm not understanding why we can't have something like the NBA clock, where every time the ball has gone out of play, it's just stopped and then started as soon as it comes back into play. I think that would just clear everything up. But in that, with that McAllister goal there, I was actually kind of referring to the Ekitike. Ekitike there, it looked to me like he was in an offside position. And I felt at the time that because the ball was going in that direction, he was interfering with play with the defenders, because obviously defenders are looking around them to see who's around them, to see where the ball's going. If you have a striker that's around you, even though he's standing offside, that technically is interfering with play, because you don't know if he's offside or not. You just have to react to where the ball is going. So even in that goal there is a question that he could be interfering with play.
Interfering with an opponent, yeah, but we had this at West Ham in the midweek fixtures, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago. It's cleared him by so much that he doesn't impact. It's complex, and that's why I think the assistants and the referees, when they pool their resources about offside, as we say, I think they do a great job, because it isn't easy. It's the most technical law of all, isn't it, offside?
I mean, from a defender's point of view, though, like in that situation there, when you got, I think there was like 3 players at the back post. There was only 2 defenders. So like you look at that and you can understand why the defensive team would feel aggrieved to that, because they're saying, well, that is interfering with play, because there's a player around me. I don't know if he's offside. I can just see where the ball's coming from and know that player's there. I'm not looking across the line because everything's happening so fast. So from that point of view, you could understand why they're saying there is interference in the way they're defending. And obviously, McAllister scored at the end, but I can understand that part.
I actually think it's better now that, you know, if you think back to when I refereed, offside was offside. Players like that were always given offside. There was goals disallowed, and people didn't want it. People said, well, are they really impacting? I think it's a lot better. We see more goals, we see more excitement. And do defenders really get that bothered about it? I don't think so. If you look at that, Forest just reset for the game, didn't they? They just went on. So,
I mean, the manager wasn't. He was fuming.
Yeah, but he was fuming. He was fuming. He lost a goal at such a late time.
OK, look, coming up, right. OK, welcome back. We're going to take you to the Etihad. Manchester City with a big win in their title challenge over Newcastle. But Dermot, look, explain why Newcastle's equaliser wasn't ruled out for offside. It appeared on replay. Joe Willock was in the line of sight of Donnarumma as it went in.
This actually, Hayley, I think is the most difficult part of the offside. We were talking earlier about offside, interpreting it. I think what happens here is the assistant will say to the referee, you know, he's in an offside position. The referee then will, as I said last week, pool his resources. He's got the stare down the barrel thing. He will say, well, in my view, he's not in line with the keeper. The keeper's got a good view of the ball that comes through. Explain to the VAR will look on the screen and back him up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's got a good view of the ball at all.
OK.
I mean, even if Willock wasn't there, he still doesn't have a view of the ball because there's so many bodies there. But Willock is there, and that is the closest person to him. And if we can play that again, and you see, I mean, hopefully we can stop it as well from Donnarumma's view. But when you see the goal from Donnarumma's view, he can't see that ball coming because obviously Willock is there. Then there's other players there, so he's had to react late to it. I think this is the best angle here. Yeah, this one here, he can't see where the ball's coming from because it starts on the right-hand side, and then obviously it deflects. But because Willock is in that position, he can't see where it's deflected to react quick enough to make the save. So I think he is interfering.
Does the deflection then have the impact on the decision?
I think what has impact on the decision is there's so many of his own colleagues in the way that blocks him. If you look, there's so many City players in. And is it Haaland actually moves out of the way to let the ball through? That's when he first sees it.
But Willock is the closest person to Donnarumma in that line of the shot. You look at the line of the shot. I mean, look, he's shooting across that way.
He is.
Right?
He is.
So like, I'm saying that because that is in the direct line.
But there, you've got...
I don't think... I think he's interfering there. I think he's interfering with play because he can't see the ball fully as it's coming, and he's in an offside position.
Yeah, but the first 3 players are Manchester City players. That's why he doesn't see the ball.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're irrelevant. But I'm saying because Willock's there and he's in the offside position, surely he's impairing his vision.
Well,
he's sight to the ball.
Let me show it. 1, 2, 3, 4 City players block his view.
Yeah.
Willock's there. It strikes Rodri. That's what...
This is the best view here. Yeah. This one is the best view. So I'm saying, in that moment, he is... I mean, listen, it's not going to be easy, even if Willock was onside. No. It's definitely not going to be. But I think the fact that Willock is in that offside position, and he's the closest person to him in that line as well, is why that should have been given as interference. Because there's no doubt about it. A goalkeeper has to anticipate a lot. Deflections, where the ball's coming from, when it leaves his foot, who's in front. Like, they have to take all them things into consideration in a split second. So I think that should have been given as Willock being interfering with play.
But don't forget, when you see that, Jay, that when the initial shot's gone, the keeper can't see the ball anyhow because there's 3 Manchester City players blocking. Okay. But then it strikes Rodri. Yeah. And the total ball changes. Yeah. It goes a different direction. It doesn't go anywhere near Willock then.
But what I'm saying is Willock is in that offside position still, right?
Which is not an offence.
No, but he's in the offside. He's in the offside position, which is impairing his vision of the ball.
Well, we're never going to agree then, because, as I've said, he doesn't. Because he can't see the ball. Even if Willock's not there, he can't see the ball.
I think looking at that angle there, for me, it looks like Willock had stopped him seeing the ball. I think he would be kind of like looking over his over his left-hand shoulder.
He can't see the ball. It's nothing to do with Willock. He can't see the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4 City players. That's why he can't see the ball.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, as that ball, when it's at his foot, he can't. But as the ball's on its way, then he's going to start to see it. But I don't think he can see it quick enough because Willock is there. That's what I'm saying.
But I think it strikes Rodri and it just plays Willock out of the game.
That's why we're in here, to have a debate.
I've never seen so many replays before. There we go. Look, let's move on. Let's talk Bernardo Silva. Fortunate not to receive a second yellow card. Look, he'd been booked less than a minute earlier when he went into Dan Burn, Dermot.
Takes a massive chance, doesn't he? Because if the referee is of the mindset, I think that's a reckless challenge. He doesn't look at the ball. I think that's a clue. The ball's not there.
I'll tell you what.
Two things.
I'll tell you what. Let's take this into consideration. I'm 6'4", so Dan Burn is 6'6", 6'7", right? So that means he would be like as tall as this, and you're 5'8". So like obviously, I think the referee's looking at that situation, saying, "Oh, it's only little Bernardo Silva. He can't really hurt him like that." If that was Haaland or someone like that that's jumping in, or even someone like myself that's jumping into him, he's going to get a yellow card there. Without that, because he would have wiped him out. I think the fact that Bernardo Silva is a small man is the reason why he hasn't looked at it and said, that's a yellow card.
Oof.
Shall we try it? Shall we simulate it? Hey, Hayley, you can decide.
The referee.
You're right. But I think if that was a bigger person, obviously, I mean, listen, he's still gone down. But if that was someone like Haaland, a Diaz, someone like that, that would really hurt Dan Burn. He would have like fell back onto his back, potentially hurting himself. Yeah, exactly.
Just away.
I still think we should try it.
No, I'm all right. Oh, you want me to try it on you?
No.
I'm the little one.
Go on, you're in the blue as well. Right. We're going to move on. Finally, explain why Ruben Diaz wasn't punished. This is for his push on Dan Burns, which meant actually he had a goal ruled out for offside. Dermot.
Do you know this happened a couple of times this weekend, that players committed probably a foul before the ball's in play, so he can't be punished. He gives him a little shove, then the ball's kicked in. At that point, Dan Burns is in offside position, impacts in the move, so gets given offside. So a bit unlucky. The only thing they could do is Dan Burns say to the kicker, stop, wait, let me get back in position.
I think that's great play from Diaz, to be honest.
Being clever,
I think it is. That is just experience. Because I think most defenders, when you're in that situation, if someone's there, like if I'm marking Dermot, obviously he stands on the wrong side, at some point you'll kind of probably maybe try and pull him that way so you can get back around. But he's pushed him, he's done the opposite, and he's obviously in the offside position then. But I thought it was a great play there. I have to say that is experience. Okay. You can't learn that as a kid. You can learn that when you're playing. That's a great play.
Okay, there we go.